Hi guys, JP from FSiPanel. On this video I will show you the new method to position the aircraft on the Azobo 787, the stock aircraft, and the same procedure applies for the 747. So if you watch this video on the 787, you can go ahead and fly the 747 using exactly the same procedure. So I have changed the codes to make it easier and faster. So let me show you what you have to do. Here we are sitting in Geneva, runway 22, and we are going to position the aircraft on a long final for an ILS approach. So let me show you from scratch. And before I forget, please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you. All right, so here we are now in the menu. The first thing to do before you start FSiPanel, make sure you select the correct aircraft. This is the Azobo 787. As I told you, you can select the 747 if you want to use the exact same procedure. And then you select wherever you want to train and the runway and click on fly. Once the simulator is ready, then you can set the training weight to make sure you land with the desired weight. You might have today an heavy aircraft and tomorrow a very light aircraft. So this is completely up to you. So in the Azobo fleet, you need to do that via the simulator menu. So I'm going to show you that as soon as the sim is ready. All right, here we go. We are ready. So I click ready to fly and we are on the runway. As you can see, I will not set anything. So we have default value, we have nothing in the box, and now we need to set our weight. So in order to do that, you have several options. What I suggest you to do is probably the same thing as I do. You go here to weight and balance, and you can start loading your aircraft with some fuel, passengers, and so on to make sure you meet your training requirements. Here, I will just use the default figures. I have 20%, I have 50% of fuel, so I can reduce a little bit the fuel here. Let's put 40%, and passengers, I would just leave it like this. So we've got 40,000 kilograms of fuel, payload of 13, and we have 189 tons aircraft. Good. So now it's a good time to start FSiPanel, and we want to be on let's say, long final for runway 22, where we are sitting at right now. So here we are, beginning of the runway 22, and we want to do a long final. So let's start FSiPanel. When you start FSiPanel, normally the aircraft should be detected. So we should see that right there, Boeing 787. Airport and runway. Should you need to change the runway, feel free to do that. You can see the actual live weather in Geneva. So basically with that kind of wind, we should probably land on runway 04. So I will select runway 04 and long final. Ready? We should be at 8 miles, 3,700 feet. I will click move aircraft and we go back in the sim. And the first thing you will see, the flaps are moving to flaps 30 as we are going for a long final. And once the flaps are set, FSiPanel will bring your aircraft in the air and position everything. So let's see that happening now as the flaps are reaching flaps 30. Here we go. So now the new methods, you will see that FSiPanel will select vertical speed 1,500 feet and will drop the aircraft to roughly 4,200, so 500 feet above the altitude that you have to be. The speed mode is engaged. As it says here on the instruction, just make sure you have the auto throttle on. Now it should be the case as I change the code. And once you reach 3,700 feet, then you can start your approach. On this aircraft, Azobo fleet, unfortunately, we cannot set the ILS automatically by the SDK. So we're going to have to enter some information in the FMC. But that's as well very good as we can update the speed with the actual correct approach speed. Good. Aircraft is ready. As you can see now, I could take control anytime by holding the brake for 3 seconds, but I will show you what you have to do in order to set your box and have the ILS shown on the PFD. So what we have to do here is very straightforward, and you don't need to put a whole flight plan. What you will do is go to the route page. Destination is your airport where we are right now. So in my case, Geneva. I just activate this. Now I will select the arrival. So departure arrival, Geneva. And we are doing an ILS runway 04. Execute. Now you can see that we have localizer, glide slope. Everything is shown on the screen. Next thing we need to do, set the weight. So you push init ref, index, performance, click on the zero fuel weight here, and the zero fuel weight comes in the scratch pad, and put it on. Reserve is not required, just put something like 3 tons. And cruise altitude, if you want to descend using a VNAV approach, for example, you will have to set your cruising altitude. So what I suggest you to do is always set here the altitude that you are flying right now, the altitude that you see on your mode control panel as well as cruise altitude. Cost index, not required. If you want to put anything, just do it. It is not required for everything to work. Execute. So right now the aircraft knows the FMC, knows the aircraft weight. So if you go again to init ref and index and you go to the approach, now you can see the correct approach speed right there. And you can select flaps 30, speed 150. I will set some auto brake right there. And that's about it. Now we can see that the next waypoint in front of us is pass 3. So I'm just going to check that this is the correct waypoint. You can see that right now with the waypoint, the approach that I inserted, I have Belka, which is behind me. So I don't want that. So I'm just going to put pass 3 on top and execute. Good. Basically now we are ready to fly. Our approach speed was 150. So plus 5 knots, 155. So I will adjust that before taking the control. And you see a message checklist incomplete. So what you can do if you want to clear that, you can call the checklist and basically override the items. You see that we are in the after takeoff items. Just go item override, item override. Then you can click checklist again, checklist again. Now we have the descent. So here, same thing. We are going to override, 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 override. Checklist, checklist, altimeter, item override, checklist, checklist, and you're on final. One thing, otherwise, if you don't want to do all this, just go normal menu and select directly landing checklist, and you will be right there. Good. So what we are missing is to arm the speed brake. Checklist complete. I'm ready to fly. Speed brake extended. Okay, so I have to arm the speed brake. Okay, right there. She's not happy. This is something with my... Okay, is it good now? Yeah, it's perfect. All right, now we are good. Close the checklist. We are ready to fly. So I'm going to hold my brake for 3 seconds. And then after that, I'm going to arm the approach. So 1, 2, and 3. I have control. Approach mode. Localizer is captured. Glide slope is armed. Runway is in front of us. Glide slope is coming. Glide slope is captured. Missed approach altitude 7,000 feet. Set. And basically now enjoy your approach and enjoy your landing. So this is the new method how to set the approach using Azobo 787 and as well the 747. So if you want to fly any of these aircraft with FSiPanel, this is the exact same procedure. Load your aircraft and then you can do exactly the same thing on both aircraft. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I wish you stay safe, and please do subscribe to the channel. If you have any question or comment, please drop it in the section down below. And I see you very soon for another video. Bye-bye.